Hello, I'm Tootight Lautrec and welcome back to the Shakey Sonnet Show. We're here again in the Sonnetarium at the bottom of the down staircase in the permanently sequestered remainders section of an unnamed local library which may or may not have some lion couchant on the front steps. May or may not. Today we're going to be looking at Sonnet 43. If the menage a trois of Sonnets 40, 41, and 42 has left you spent, I understand completely. But Sonnet 43 provides a much needed sleepy time. The drama is gone, the stage has gone dark, the narrator delves deep into the dark abyss of his or her own imagination to see the lover properly. And instead of a hall of mirrors like we had in Sonnet 40, we've got opposition heaven. We've got darkness and light, sight and blindness, day and night, asleep, awake, and shadows everywhere you turn. So let's dive right in. I'm going to read it and then we'll discuss some specifics of it. Sonnet 43. When most I wink, then do mine eyes best see. For all the day they view things unrespected. But when I sleep, in dreams they look on thee, and, darkly bright, are bright in dark directed. Then thou, whose shadow shadows doth make bright, how would thy shadow's form happy show to the clear day with thy much clearer light, when to unseeing eyes thy shade shines so? How would, I say, mine eyes be blessed made, by looking on thee in the living day, when in dead night thy fair and perfect shade through heavy sleep on sightless eyes doth stay? All days are nights to see till I see thee. All nights bright days when dreams do show thee me. Well, that's a very nice little sounding poem. So let's go through it. First quatrain. I only see clearly when I'm alone in the dark or sleeping, because then I see you. When most I wink, wink meaning when most I sleep. When I'm sleeping, then do my eyes see best. For all the day they view things unrespected, or unignored, or unpaid attention to, and we know the trouble with that. But when I sleep, in dreams they look on thee, clear enough, and darkly bright, are bright in dark directed. So your image shines really strongly in my inner eye because it's dark, and even though it is dark, you come to full light in my imagination. Second quatrain. You light up my life. You give me hope to carry on. And if you're too young to catch that reference, don't worry, you're not really missing much of anything. But the second quatrain has a similar sentiment. Then thou, whose shadows doth make bright. So your shadow, or the image of you, shines even more clearly in the real shadows. How would thy shadow's form happy show? So your form forms a happy show. The image of you in your body shows up for me. So your shadow, the image of you in the dark, forms a happy show to the clear day with thy much clearer light. When to unseeing eyes thy shade shines so. So you show up to me vividly in my dreams as if you were there in the clear light of day. But look at the language here. This use of the exact same word to form a different sort of meaning is really pretty amazing. Darkly bright are bright in dark directed, so dark and bright, whose shadow doth make bright. So shadow meaning the image of you and the actual idea of a shadow, light turning onto shadow. The shadow's form happy show, the form of you, and then the verb forms a happy show. And all of this is, and even among that, shadow and show at the end begins with the sh and ends with the OW. It's as if it's a shadow of the word shadow, is show. All this is to say that, you're vivid and alive in my dreams, but you're even better in broad daylight. So this use of the exact same words to highlight an opposite effect or repeated in a different state is what Don Patterson, I have learned, calls antonoclasis, which is one of those words that you can stick in your back pocket and haul out at your next cocktail party. Remember those? You can haul antonoclasis out at your next cocktail party. I recommend before your second martini because I can barely even say it sober. So that's what's going on in the second quatrain, antonoclasis. And in the third quatrain, we go a little further. I see you in my dreams, but I'd much rather see you right here, right now, alive and in front of me. How would, I say, mine eyes be blessed made by looking on thee in the living day? That's pretty clear. When in dead night thy fair and perfect shade through heavy sleep on sightless eyes doth stay. I really wish you were here. And then we get to the couplet. All days are nights to see till I see thee. Everything's dark and lonely without you. And all nights bright days when dreams do show thee me. Even though you're not here, at least I can dream about you. And I miss you so much and I see you all the time and I wish you were here. So a lovely little poem and quite a tricky little thing with the antonoclasis going on all through it. See how I threw that in there? If we look at this all by itself, it's a beautiful little I miss you sonnet. And even though we're dealing with shadows and light, it paints a pretty vivid picture of what it likes to be in those moments of quiet contemplation when you're alone, thinking fondly about the one that you love, who isn't there. And I don't know why, but while I was reading this today, I was thinking about this dreamlike state in which Shakespeare conjures up in 43, and I thought about the opening of Proust's À la recherche de temps perdu, which that very first opening scene, which is quite good, and I would recommend parts of Proust. Reading the whole thing is a bit much, but go for it if you do it. I encourage you to do it. I've done it once, and that's quite enough for me. But the very opening scene is quite good, and particularly that first line, for a long time I used to go to bed early, which is the Moncrief and Kilmartin translation. I guess in French it's, see how I do with this. Longtemps, je me suis couché de bonne heure. So that's what it is in French, and it just reminds me of this dream state where one is comfortable and cozy and the shadows and light are playing around and the imagination begins to wander forth, and in this case on the beloved who is not there. So that's what it would be like all alone. But if we look at it as a continuation of the narrative of the first 42 poems, and then this follows, it seems that we've come quite away from the love triangle from 40, 41, and 42. And if the couple are indeed separated, it could be because of either a physical separation or an agreed upon emotional separation. It's a little bit hard to tell. But if it's an emotional separation, it does seem like it's a separation that the narrator would like to end soon. Now, as far as whether the person being addressed is a male or a female, there's no indication here, unless we carry our narrative forward and we decide that he's speaking to either the male lover or the female lover. And of course, I always like a little bit of drama, so I'm imagining that perhaps this is said to the female lover, where 42, he says, he's telling him, the fact that you're sleeping with my mistress doesn't bother me so much because you're the one I love. He's telling this to his male lover. But in 43, if he's speaking to the female lover and saying, oh, I miss you so much, and when I go to sleep at night, all I can think of is you, and I see your form, and I wish you were here. Then you can see what a dirty, double-dealing, dastardly deed he's doing with this sonnet. And that does provide a bit of drama in this continuing narrative. If it's to the male, it seems to sort of fall flat because it seems to have dropped all of that love triangle and the green-eyed monster of jealousy. And so I'll prefer to think of this as if he's talking to his female lover and just trying to sort of keep the lines open so that he doesn't end up all alone completely forever. But dramatically, I do believe that it could work in any combination of genders, in any combination of situations where two people are separated for any number of reasons. And it could also work, I suppose, if it were an intense platonic relationship. But those exclamation points, I mean, the so in line 9 is actually a question mark in the quarto version, and only Patterson retains the question mark, whereas everybody else seems to favor the exclamation point, and then the exclamation point in stay at line 13. So those the exclamation points are a bit too emphatic if we're just talking about an intense platonic relationship. And plus, you know, I prefer the drama. So where might this fit into Shakespeare's oeuvre? Well, I say just about anywhere. Any set of lovers who are separated for any amount of time, for any reason whatever, in almost any of Shakespeare's plays, particularly in the comedies, I would imagine. So I could see it fitting in nicely in any one of Shakespeare's plays. And so that's all I have to say about Sonnet 43. I'd like to know, who do you dream of at night? Or better yet, what wonders in the weird, wonderful world have caught your senses to the point where you are able to pay attention to them in the day and also at night? Leave your comments below. If you have something to say about this sonnet too, you don't have to, disclose all your private, gory details to me, but I'm always open for that. So again, world, wonder, pay attention. Until we meet again, I am Tootight Lautrec. Mwah.